years ago, I started training, but I didn't know where to look for a school. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anything about general aviation. I didn't know how much it cost. I didn't know what the next steps were. Do I find a flight instructor? Do I find a school? You know, I didn't know any of this stuff. What would you say to somebody that's like that, that's looking around, whether it's social media, whether it's the internet? What would you say to them?
Try to find somebody sometimes that's already maybe flight training. Find out where they started. If you don't have that, go to your smaller airport, not your major airport like DFW, but find the smaller airports near you. They're almost always marked on any chart. There's an FBO usually on there. Someone can direct you to a flight school. Once
okay, FBO, somebody that was...
Yeah, sorry, the business that... yeah, you're correct. A business that's located on the airport, usually where you see the business jets or even the smaller airplanes are located. That's where they can get their fuel. There's usually an outdoor entrance for customers from the street.
Okay, we have traffic ahead and to the right.
Yeah, watching.
Okay.
You know, the other places you might even look for one that even says pilot shop.
There's traffic is in sight.
Yep. You know, if you can find a pilot shop where people can buy pilot supplies, a few of those are even located on airports or off airport. Yeah, I would say you're looking for a flight school or a flight instructor, depending on how big your area is proliferate with other airports or small. To find that first flight to get an idea of what you want. You know, is this what you want to do, what not want to do? Nowadays we have Groupons and everything else that also direct us to people.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's a good way to start. What am I looking at cost-wise? I think that's your plane, again.
A possibility
it is.
For the cost-wise, it will depend on which school you start. Some of the bigger schools, like U.S. Aviation, the ones that have larger contracts, well-known schools, they're probably starting at $10,000 and upwards. Some of the schools like mine were starting around $6,500 for a private pilot for that initial license.
And that's everything to get through to get your license.
Right. Like I said, that's my average is 50 hours to get someone from start to finish.
Okay.
That varies based on each student, of course, and their timing they put into it.
And I found that when I was training regularly, 2-3 times a week, you go through it better and shorter than if you skip, you go 3-4 weeks without a lesson, because then you almost have to like redo stuff.
Yes.
Because I learned that they talk about different skill sets being very perishable. Flying is one of the most. If you don't fly for a month, you forget a lot.
Yes, I would definitely agree. I'd always tell my students at least once a week, no more, 2 to 3 times is optimal. And then there's some who can handle every day of the week, maybe even 2 or 3 times a day. Not everybody can do that, of course. But that is, the more intensive the training, the less you're going to lose in between flights. But I do say if those, like my flight attendants, often do end up taking a week or 2 weeks before they can get to their next lesson due to their work schedule, is I tell them, fly, chair fly, everything you're supposed to be doing, what you remember from lessons. That way there's less, you've forgotten less than you realize. And so it's a quicker back to where we started and we're ready to move forward again.
Okay, so if you're wanting to learn to fly, Tamara has a lot of great advice there. So go find a school, go find an instructor. Your price, might be $6,500, might be $10,000, might be $12,000, just depends on the school. And I wish you the best getting into general aviation.
Come see me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd go to everybody but.
Yeah. Cut that part out too.